Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to it's like a half podcast, like Spawncast 0.5, I guess. And a couple reasons. One, everyone's still kind of enjoying their little vacation going on right now. Celia's on vacation still, just hanging out. Sean's just always on vacation. He's just here. And so they popped in, kind enough to do so with a mini discussion here. And then I also have two guests that joined us. I'll start over here with Real Radic popping in again on the podcast.
Let's go. Thanks for inviting me once again. Always a fun time talking with you guys.
Good to have Radic here. And we got Gene Parks with us.
Happy New Year, everyone. How's it going? Good
to see Gene here. Yeah, I was just kind of sending some messages out. I was like, I wonder if Gene would want to talk about some of the next gen stuff before the new year really kicked off this week coming up. So it's good to have Gene here. Good stuff. So people get back from vacation, may or may not have like a 49ers Seahawks game Saturday night. I don't know. A lot of stuff. We'll never know what the real reason was. But
what are the repercussions of that? Because you're in the playoffs, right?
The 49ers are in the playoffs, but if they win Saturday night, they get the number one seed in the first round bye. So they would have number one seed in the NFC. But if they lose, they then have to, I think, go to Philadelphia. So that'll be funny. So one way or the other, it's going to be an interesting week. But it was his last game of the season, big game. So I said, we'll push the podcast return to next week and do a little pre-record instead. So first of all, how's everyone's New Year's vacation been? I know, Sean, I'm sure been doing all kinds of stuff.
It was good until yesterday. But yeah, hey. Happy New Year, right? It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, how's it going, Celia? You play some games?
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of games. I'm actually making a video for reals this time. I'm not deleting it, I promise, for Game and Talk. And so I've been playing through a bunch of games and like getting footage. Dude, it's such a schlep. I don't know how you guys do it. Like, there's a lot of things I'm like going through and making sure things look correct. We'll see. But yeah, I've been playing a bunch of indie games. It's been a lot of fun. I have been enjoying break. It's been really relaxing doing nothing. It's been cool. I also have a cough right now, so I will be muting myself occasionally to handle that.
So the Celia Game and Talk video debut is coming.
It's coming, yeah. I need to refill some things because I was about to be like, Happy New Year. And I was like, wait, that's not, I'm a little late on it. So
it'll be fun. I'll check that out when it drops. Okay. Eventually. Okay, good stuff. What about you, Gene? Playing anything fun?
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of Fallout because the TV show is out right now. And, Fallout has ups and downs, but just any little bit of Fallout hype is just enough to get you back into New Vegas and Fallout 4. So that's what I've been doing, You
said you were playing a different mode in Fallout 4?
Oh, yeah. Fallout 4 Survivor mode. And they added this like a year later. So it's been like this hidden secret that I just never played the whole time. But how like the settlements in Fallout 4 are just kind of like worthless,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's just like fun, like you think that it's just like a fun little sim building, whatever, just for the heck of it, and you just want to play house. But in Survivor mode, like you need those settlements because you can't. Those are the only places you can save, get food, replenish any kind of life that you have, get supplies. Like you need those like all over the map.
Is that the mode where you can only save when you sleep in the bed?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I actually lost an hour and a half of progress the other night, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to take a break.
That's the only thing that keeps me from trying that kind of a mode is because I know I'm going to lose a significant portion of time in a game.
That's exactly the confidence I had where I was like, you know what, I'm good. I played this game for 10 years. I know my way around, and I just got jumped by a bunch of super mutants, forgetting that the damage like is like super high there, and I was just like, oh my god, I haven't saved in an hour and a half, and then I went back and I was like, yeah, I'm sure. I'm like all the way back there. I lost so much progress. So that's been fun. I also watch Pluribus on Apple TV.
That gets me because I don't have Apple TV, and I'm like, do I really want to sign up for a? Like, I watched the first couple episodes because I got
free
a website trial thing.
You watched the first couple of episodes of Pluribus? Cool.
Yeah, because I had the free. Because when you buy like a MacBook or whatever, they'll usually give you a month for free, and I had before Pluribus came out, I had already like redeemed it to see what was on it. And then that shows up 2 weeks into my 1 month like free trial thing. And I'm like, man, I want to keep watching it, but do I want another subscription fee? Apparently, Sean's got the word on the street for a site, so we'll see.
Oh, there you go.
I put it in the private chat.
Okay.
Jesus.
I'm actually going to click that link right now. Save it for later.
Movies, TV, whatever you need. Because like
Actually,
I thought
I'm gonna do the exact same thing right now.
Yeah, I thought streaming some kind of crypto thing next week now.
No. I thought my Netflix had lapsed, and so I wasn't watching like the first 5 episodes of Stranger Things, the final season. I watched through that website, and then I realized that I had just paused my Netflix. So I got to watch the finale of Stranger Things on my TV, and then I was like, well, that was fine, I guess. And then I canceled my Netflix. So I don't have any. The only streaming service I have now is just Prime, because I buy a lot of crap off
Prime
Amazon.
shipping, yeah.
Yeah. That seems to be a common theme with everyone. They have Prime Video because of Prime.
They tie it in. Yep. You know, Gene, did you play Arc Raiders?
No, I haven't.
Oh, I picked that up the other day. I was, let me just try this. This is on sale anyway. And it's actually better than I was. I'm not a big extraction shooter guy. This is actually a lot of fun. Like, I'm a little surprised by it. So I was trying to see who is like the big art, because Evan played a lot of it. But Evan likes Evan games usually. So I wanted to see if there was somebody else who was caught up with an Evan game, which I would kind of categorize this as that.
I don't know. You love Halo, so like I feel like you might have a similar taste in shooters that I do. So
well, it's a third person. It's like a third person.
I like third person shooters too. So it's like, but it just sort of didn't look that interesting to me. But maybe I'll check it out. It
was because it was on sale for I think $31. And I said, I'll check this thing out, because everyone keeps talking about it on Steam. It's constantly 250, 300,000 current people. It's like one of the top played games still on Steam. And it does have a good gameplay loop, but I feel like it's something I'd want to drop in with multiple people to get the full experience, because it asks you to go in with a crew, or you going solo. No, I'm going solo. And you die, you lose everything that you had on you, basically. But they have it set up so that whenever you open something, you loot a locker or loot a chest or something, you get hundreds of experience every time. So your character is always leveling up or gaining something each run without you keeping what are some really, just junk weapons to start with. So you have to learn how to build out better weapons and stuff the whole way. So it's interesting. I've run across people, and because I'm on the PS5 right now, the PS5 has a microphone. So everyone I run into will say something. And I've run into some people who don't want to fight, and then I've run into people who do, and they always let you know in some phrase on their end what they're about to do to you. So it's an interesting like social experiment kind of too. So I've heard all kinds of memes get yelled at me, and
do you learn any new slurs?
Xbox 360 language getting thrown at me occasionally too.
God is
good days. Yes, it still exists.
Just healing.
What about you, Radic? You got going on over there?
Lots of gaming. 2 games in particular. So after they announced the Tomb Raider games at the VGAs, I was like, oh yeah, I have Tomb Raider Remastered 1 through 3. Let me give like Tomb Raider 1 like a proper shot. Ended up getting the platinum in that game, which required me to beat it like 3 times, do a bunch of like miscellaneous crap. And at the beginning, I wasn't crazy about it, but eventually you learn like the mechanics, the way Laura moves, when to jump off a ledge, when to climb a platform. And it's actually like low-key satisfying. I'm like, this is actually like, it held up better than I thought it would. And the thing I like about these Aspire collections is like, if you press the option button, it just like switches between the old style graphics and the new style graphics. So I was just constantly going back and forth. So Tomb Raider 1 was dope. I had to do the PS4 version specifically because the PS5 version does not have a platinum for some reason.
Oh, so sorry. What? Really?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it's the way they do, like Sony updated the trophy mandate for PS5. So like Crash Insane Trilogy, take that game for example. When it launched on PS4, you had 3 separate trophy lists with 3 platinums. So because it's like technically 3 games, but in one SKU. But for PS5, let's say they released Crash Insane Trilogy again, you're only allowed 1 platinum per SKU per package. So that's why some games, like they'll have like 3 games in the collection, but only 1 platinum for the whole list. And I don't know why Sony changed that. It's really annoying, but whatever. I'll just play the PS4 version anyway. And that was fun. And then we talked about this a little bit before the recording. Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. I've been playing that. Always been a Mortal Kombat fan my whole life. Mainly, I started with Shaolin Monks. And then after that, Mortal Kombat 9 came out. And that's what really kicked off my love for the franchise. So playing the Legacy Collection, it's really cool. It's all right. I'm actually playing these like old head games. Like I'm actually like learning the history, learning about characters like Rain and how he was only in the SNES version of Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, stuff like that. I suffered through Mortal Kombat Mythology's Sub-Zero yesterday. That was
Did you have to beat? You have to beat that for a trophy?
Yeah, you have to beat.
Wow,
dude. What pissed me off is like I played the game on easy difficulty because like I'm not fucking playing normal. I get to the 4th stage, I beat it, and then it has a screen. You're playing on easy. You gotta play the game on a higher difficulty if you want to continue. I'm like, go fuck yourself. Do the level skip, and then I just played the rest of the game with level skips.
Blame MVG for that one.
And then so then I'm doing Special Forces, which I also talked about earlier. Not as bad as people say. Gotta admit, it's actually I want more Mortal Kombat spinoffs. Shaolin Monks still a goat. I just love the universe of Mortal Kombat so much. I feel like they're kind of wasting the potential of the IP by just sticking to fighting games, but that's a whole nother conversation. And other than that, I held the Switch 2 for the first time last weekend because my nephew got a Switch 2 for Christmas. I bought a Mario Party. Which is the Switch 2 one?
The Jamboree.
Jamboree. That's that one. It was cool. I only played it for like an hour. He wanted to face me in Mario Party. Of course, I won. I'm not going to go easy on my 5-year-old nephew. I know that's a hot take. Yeah. 4 stars to 1. You just got to do it to them. Teach them young. But yeah, I like the feel of the Switch 2 more than the Switch 1. It feels like it has like a little more heft to it. And I like the way it snaps. Like it's oddly satisfying to me. I don't know why. But that's been my holiday plans for the week.
Good stuff. Sean, did I ask you what you were playing?
No.
All right. Hit us with it. I gotta hear this.
I've been playing I played a bunch of Forza Horizon 5 for car test driving purposes. Gosh. I would say it was pretty accurate.
Sean, you really brought the Porsche because you played on Forza? That wasn't a bit.
Okay, we're muting someone, giving out it was a Ford Pinto, 78 Ford Pinto that I purchased. That I was test driving in Forza Horizon 5.
It's in the classic car pack.
Yeah, it's in the classic car pack. And then I bought 2K26 NBA on Xbox because it was on sale for $27 and I was not playing the crusty Switch 2 version at 30 frames per second. Ow! And you know what I've been playing? The WNBA mode. I made a
this is a turn I was not expecting.
I made a 6'8" gargantuan person. It's a bald white woman who plays center. And I've already set I've been playing the W, which is like where you have a character and like you go through and try to break all the records. I've already broken the single game scoring record, most field goals in a game, most rebounds in a game. And it's just been so satisfying playing it because we're blowing them out by 50 points. I just call for the ball every time. My post moves are undeniable. Destroyed Brittany Griner the other day, who's supposed to be the best female defender in the league. It's yeah.
Did you dunk on him?
No, it did my stats. It pre-rolled my stats, and I didn't notice that my dunk was at 25. But I've got threes too, so it's okay.
Okay. That is an interesting setup there, but having fun with it. Having fun. So with that, let's talk about next generation. We're 5 years into the current generation. of course, 2020 to 2025, now into 26. And if you go back to say the PS4 to the PS5, go up to then 2018 into 2019, or you go back to the PS3, we'd be talking 2011 into 2012. I think the discussion, because I went back and looked, much different than it is right now across the board for the PS5 to the PS6, because who knows what Xbox is about to do. But when we look at Sony specifically being still very hardware centric with a lot of their moves, what's the temperature check right now on the potential for a PS6 some were floating 2027, but now it's kind of like maybe 28. What's the thought on that?
Yeah, you're probably referencing the Insider Gaming article that released like last week about how like they might delay their next gen plans from 2027 to 2028 to 29 to 30. And I think it's so interesting because this is just anecdotal from me, but I assume you guys experience this feeling as well. Doesn't matter if you ask a PlayStation fan, Switch fan, Xbox fan, PC fan. When anyone asks you, like, are you okay with PS6 coming out in 2030? It's like unanimously, I can't talk right now. Everyone says, yes, I would love if PS6 came out in 2030 instead of 2027. And I feel like that kind of says a lot about how people feel about this generation, really. Because, we got COVID that kind of felt delayed the swing of things. And then we're entering 2026 and people still feel like the generation hasn't gotten started. So and that's 6 years. Compared that to like you said with PS3 and PS4, where like I feel like with those consoles, like even like a year or two in, we're like, all right, this is next gen. Like next gen has begun. Whereas like as I said, 2026 and PS4 is still alive. So
I'm just confused who this is for. Because with next gen, like sometimes with like game development, like it's one of those things where like the hardware is chugging along and things are getting more advanced for the game. So there's reasons why we should advance to the next console. But for PlayStation 5, it's handling anything and everything that developers throw at it. And like a lot of games that we're really looking forward to haven't even come out that will take advantage of the hardware for the PS5. So I'm just confused why they're looking towards the next. They need to extend these generations regardless. And I'm kind of cool with them putting it off. Because like I know they're using the excuse for cost, which probably isn't as much as an excuse as like a reason, because it'll just drive up the prices even more. And we're complaining about the prices rising for this generation. But they need to extend it because game development, it can take 5 to 8 years to put out one game on a platform. That just doesn't make sense for a console when a lot of like consumers are expecting multiple games from different studios.
I think you're at the problem of law of diminishing returns. When you look at previous console generations that lasted, there's really anyone but Radic because he's a young buck. But growing up, you had like the NES to the Super Nintendo, huge jump. Super Nintendo to the N64, huge jump. Genesis to Dreamcast, huge. You had these huge jumps because technology was advancing so rapidly. And game developers were able to utilize that. You don't have that really anymore. We've seen most of the tricks that a lot of these companies are going to do, and new things that have been added in, like ray tracing and stuff. Is it lighting the world on fire? Do people like, oh, I want to buy this game because it has ray tracing? Like, no, like it doesn't. So 2030 sounds good to me. You release these systems in the middle of COVID. You had all these cross-generational games. You can count the amount of exclusives from first-party developers, depending on the company, on both hands. Like, and even Xbox, which has a larger output, a lot of those games were kind of misses, dog. Redfall, Avowed. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, you mentioned the output. We're technically still waiting for Sony Santa Monica to release a PS5 targeted game, and Naughty Dog. Ben Studio, Naughty Dog with Intergalactic. There's word that might not be till summer 2027, could be holiday even. Yep. And we're still waiting for them. I mean, they haven't released a PS5 targeted game yet this year or this generation.
Media Molecule, Fire Sprite. Like there's quite a few Sony studios that fall in that category for sure.
Wait,
Just
side note,
Housemarque and Insomniac, I think, right? That are just only PS5
Yeah,
only.
honestly, dude.
Yeah.
And like if
And Blue Point.
next generation, Blue Point's another story because like
Yeah,
we
I
don't
mean, that's a
get
whole
into
other tragedy right there too.
Yeah, but like look at Team Asobi because like compared to other Sony studios, I feel like their turnaround time is going to be shorter because I feel like the average is 5 years. Team Asobi, I can see like 3 years at the absolute quickest. And before, when I thought PS6 was going to be 2027, it's like, all right, Team Asobi is going to make like a PS6 launch game exclusive. Now, like I'm convinced Team Asobi is going to make a PS5 game as their next game, like for sure. It might be cross-gen, but like it will for sure be on PS5.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering if they just do another Astrobot game, but they lean more into how they did the kind of the guest levels where they went to different games. I think it'd be kind of cool if Astrobot did a whole thing, almost kind of like a
Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts, where they go to
yeah.
different IPs and stuff, and they live in their world. If Astro does that, but the Astro goes to all these different worlds that are within Sony's catalog. Even some third parties. I think that would be really cool and would be a really fun spin on the franchise.
I can't wait to see the Concord world. Like I can't wait to see how they reference that.
It's so sad because I remember Gene was talking about when the secret level stuff came out. I didn't watch all the way through it or anything. It had just come out. I think you put a review out for it, Gene, the day before when we did the podcast or something. And you're like, the Concord episode was actually good. And I went back and watched it as soon as we got off that podcast. And I was like, okay, that's kind of a shame because if they had this go alongside of their Concord game and the Concord game wasn't terrible then and got shut down, like to the point where no one really wanted to play it, they might have had something there because that secret level was, I think, better than how the game was received.
That episode was supposed to launch like the new season, like with a new character and all that. That was like the plan, but we all know how that ended up.
Yeah, it was a shame.
Yeah, the Concord level of Astrobot will be like 20 seconds long, and and the goal Radic would be to throw Astrobot off the stage.
Oh man,
dude! I guarantee you there was supposed to be a Concord VIP bot in Astrobot that they replaced with like in the
a classic iconic character Lennox.
Lennox, the next Nathan
Lennox,
Drake, yeah.
I like to go up to people and challenge them, like, "Hey, gun to your head! It's been a year since Concord. Name one character."
I can name more than half. I can't name all of them. I can.
You got the fucking platinum. Of course, you can name more than half. Oh my god,
touche.
Well, that is the question though. There's questions around pricing and there's questions around what would the next system even solve. Because when I did go back and looked at a bunch of old forum posts. I mean, I went all the way back even to 2011. Just seeing what people were saying, going from the PS3 to the PS4, the Xbox 360, the Xbox One. And while there were some people who said they were fine with their system. Hey, there's a bunch of games still out that I need to play. I can wait a little bit. Maybe I'll give it a year or two to see how it turns out. I did also go back to the original Xbox to the 360. And some people were making jokes that, I'll let them figure things out because the 360 might be overheating or something. We'll see. Turns out they were kind of right about that. But there is always that group of people who are like, I'm good with what I have now. I'll wait a little bit, but then the early adopters come in and they label all the things that could be better. Technical specs generally is what's mentioned. Some were saying that the PS3 version of Assassin's Creed 3 was a slideshow. I did go back and look at Digital Foundry, who had a very early video of it, and it was in the 20s. And I mean, now if a game came out and it was consistently 25 frames per second, people would be crushing it. Like online, absolutely would be. So there was at least some path forward of, hey, here's what could be better. I'm not seeing much of that right now. That seems to be the big difference currently. You all right, Sean? He's talking, man. He's making a good point. I got a feeling it's.
I thought he was gonna like lay down some knowledge on us.
He's still muted.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, damn.
Oh, now he's frozen. Yep. It's all coming together.
Girls on that PS3 era frame rate. God damn, bro.
Man, see?
Yeah, Middle Earth was a travesty too.
Dude, I played that last year just to like capture some footage of it. It was literally, I'm not exaggerating. It felt like it was in 15 frames per second.
PS3 version? That's crazy. Yeah.
And then MGS5 was on PS3 as well, which is so
I played that. that.
Did you? Damn.
Yeah. I have it on disc. Nice. Because You know, because so I can own every single Metal Gear Solid on a PlayStation 3 because you can do that. You know.
Yep.
Oh, that's true because they have the Legacy Collection.
Yes. Yep. You can own
Oh, yeah,
every
you
single
get-
Metal Gear Solid game on a
You
PC.
can platinum Peace Walker, right? Yeah.
So with like Sony for the PS3, RAM limitations were pointed out because they split the RAM pools up, and that was a big thing they did solve with the Sean is back. He's here twice.
Oh,
Whoa.
How is this? What in the
Amazing.
world?
bro, eat the
I like
double
it.
cherry. God damn.
Yeah.
What in the world?
I don't know. It's there.
There you
I
go.
won't No, my thing was going to be when you were talking about 25 frames per second. I was going to say, well, unless it's a Nintendo game, then it'll be okay.
It was 720p at like 20 frames was what was being complained about for Assassin's Creed. Also, though, on the Wii U was right next to it, the same frame rate. So it was got to getting crushed for that. But with
Wii U.
PS3, RAM limitations were pointed out. Even with PS3, when you had to install a lot of the games to the hard drive later on in the generation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they had 360 DVD storage. That was a problem because we got to the point where games were so big they couldn't fit on a single DVD, so they had to move to Blu-ray there with the Xbox One. But now it's, as you mentioned, Sean, Mark Cerny did talk about ray tracing being one of the big things that they're going to attempt to solve with the PS6. And I don't know if people are that sold on ray tracing to where it's a generational leap for them. I feel like it has to be something else. And that's what I've been trying to rack my brain around right now is like, what could they present instead of better visuals in terms of resolution? Because we're not really at 8K currently. Everyone seems fine with 4K OLEDs and ray tracing. That's kind of the question right now.
Nothing.
Yeah, there is no problem. If anything, it's possibly to keep investors happy and kickstart sales, because every time there's a console generation jump, it's fun and exciting, and the industry is like buzzing. Game sales happen because even though there's a new console and developers need to catch up and release games on there, it's always like a race to be one of the pioneers first on the store. So maybe it's that, and then looking at that and then being like, ooh, maybe not because of the pricing. I don't know. I'm so confused by this jump. And I know like historically with the console releasing 6 years ago or almost 6 years ago, it does make sense that they would be looking at next generation. But like I said earlier, it just feels too soon just of how the world is and how long it takes to make games now.
Yeah, we would expect about a 7-year cycle is what we typically see. 7 to 8 years sometimes.
It needs to be 10 for everyone now.
Yeah,
I agree.
Times have changed. It's not, it's sequels used to take, look at, I always refer to it.
Yeah.
Look at Resident Evil 2. That was considered a super long time between that and Resident Evil 1. And it was like, what, like a year and a half, 2 years, and they had to restart the whole game? Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, I'm thinking, because I was trying to come up with things that they could do. And I think most of it would rely on so whenever we get these consoles, they're always GPU heavy. And the CPU is just usually lower tier, almost junk. I think of the PS4 or the Xbox One where they have those Jaguar cores and people look at them now as just trash CPUs. So I almost wonder if they could look more towards being even more across the board or even more CPU heavy and do things with more simulation, AI, NPCs, physics, things like that in a big open world, because that's kind of where we're going now. It's you move away from the resolution and how visuals are presented, since it's kind of capped out, as you mentioned, Sean, diminishing returns. And I think maybe some kind of jump in an open world would be not noticeable, but at least maybe change things from a gameplay perspective that would be more meaningful. Because the thing with this generation, the SSD was pretty sized. That was a big jump. I think people forget, man, if you go back and you get a base PS4, it takes a while for it to do stuff.
Yeah.
Like even in open worlds, there are certain games now that we have, like Star Wars Outlaws made headlines because they said that the cartridge speed on the Switch 2 wasn't fast enough for them to be able to stream assets in. That's a big thing now with open world games, where they're able to stream stuff on the fly and present pretty large, detailed open worlds. So it's a jump that isn't as noticeable, even though it's like substantial for behind the
it's
scenes.
not flashy.
With game
it's like you compare loading screens from Demon Souls on PS3 to the remake. It's like an insane difference. It's like it's really that's one of the things I try not to take for granted. It's like, oh wow, like I haven't really experienced loading times as often this generation.
No,
as I did previous generations, which is great. But again, it's not really. It's hard to sell that to the average consumer, especially for like a PS6. It's like, oh, this game it loads in 2 seconds instead of 3.5 seconds. It's like, okay, like not really like selling me on this.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Celia.
I was going to jump in and say, like, out of curiosity, and maybe I'm sidebarring this conversation, so I apologize in advance. But because you know how they were talking about costs of like, you know, oh, it might be too much. What do you guys think the cost that I decided would have been too much for it to be? Like, because right now, you know, people are being upset about, you know, the $50 or whatever, like price hikes for like the current console. How much would the PS6 cost? And then how much is too much, you know?
Oh, well,
That's a good question.
I think the numbers are different for Xbox and PlayStation because if what is being said is true, they're kind of both going in different directions. For PlayStation, I think $1,000 is too much.
Yeah.
For Xbox, I don't think $1,000 is too much.
That's true. That's true because Microsoft, you're right, is going in a different direction. They're going to focus more on the operating system than the hardware. And they're going to just, it seems like anyway, based on what's going around, allow other companies even to come in with their own hardware builds. So as long as they, I guess, meet a certain specification, minimum spec, then and use, I figure they have to use the chip that AMD and Microsoft are collaborating on and would provide. As long, maybe they want to come in and say, hey, you want a 512 gigabyte SSD system and you can expand it later. It'll save you $100. We'll make that for you. That's.
I already have $1,000 Xbox right here.
Right there.
See?
$1,000 for now. Wait till
Wait,
give it a month or two. You might have some appreciating asset there, Gene.
Oh yeah. This might be $1,200 by next month. Yeah, no problem. So.
Yes.
Dude, that should be their marketing slogan. It's like buy our stuff, like you'll profit, we promise.
Yeah, get it now. It's the cheapest it'll ever be, you know?
Yeah, dude, it was so funny. Oh, sorry, Spawn.
Oh, no, you're good. Good, Reg.
Oh no, it was so funny because I think you talked about this on Clicker 3, where like you looked at the Sony Black Friday deal for 2018. So this would be 5 years after the PS5 launched, and there was a bundle for a PS4 and Spider-Man, which was like a few months old at that time, for $200.
Yep,
which
is crazy.
Which is crazy when you think about it, dude. That's actually insane.
That's a great
Compare
deal.
that to this
That's
generation
a great deal today, right now.
Yeah, that's a fantastic deal. Yeah, absolutely. And then you look at the Black Friday deal for Sony last holiday. It's like, all right, it's $100 off of PS5. It's now what it costs back in 2020. It's like, okay, great, man.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Yeah. So I looked at some of those deals. So I was curious where we were like launch aligned, and it follow the same trend that we expect last generation, even where things just get cheaper and cheaper over time, and it's easier to buy at the end of the generation. It's the same price or more right now, which it's crazy to think about. But the Xbox Series 1 terabyte with the disc drive is $650, and if we go up all the way up to what their 2 terabyte Galaxy themed model, that thing's like what $800, and then the
PS800,
right?
750, yeah. It's more expensive than Pro for sure. Yeah.
And the PS5 Pro they have listed right now on Sony's website at $749. So they have that at $750. And so Celia, your question is a good one, because how would they even present the PS6 at $750 or less when the PS5 Pro is currently costing them $750 to present here?
Yeah,
they have to get rid of the Pro or figure out a way to, I don't know, lower the price, which seems difficult as it is for them.
Or you raise the price like Nintendo did with the Switch 1. 4D chess.
4D chess. I like it. I like it.
That was crazy. I completely forgot that happened. Yeah. Jesus.
Yeah. I'm just curious what, like, I always want to be like a fly on the wall with these kind of meetings, like in the financials of them being like, hey guys, like this is the line of like, it's too expensive for consumers and it's over that, like what they view that as. So like, were they projecting initially $1,000 and then it was going to be $1,200? Like, I'm just curious where like the line was drawn, you know?
So the issue, because you bring up price, Celia, there were rumors going around about some of the hardware specifications for the PS6, but then also for the next Xbox system. And the PS6, the rumor was it would have 24 gigabytes of RAM. Is what was kind of going around. And the next Xbox could have 32 to even 40 gigabytes of RAM. So the reason I bring that up is because so this report was from a few months ago, but now this past week, we get reports that NVIDIA and AMD are raising their video cards because of the current DRAM shortage and squeeze that's happening. And I'm not even kidding, overnight. So this NVIDIA 5090 was at the center of this report. And I did a video and I have the Micro Center listing in my video because I was like, let me check this out. And I found the card at like $2,500. All right. So it was up already $500 in my video. The next day, and you can check this right now, I went online and looked, those listings were gone. And if you go on different websites that sell the cards, it's over $3,000 already. So in the span of like 24 hours, it jumped. And some are finding like partner boards, so you can get like an MSI, an Asus, all these different video cards of the same number, same manufacturer, like the same model. Some are finding at $4,000 now. So the problem with that, those cards have 32 gigabytes of GDDR7 memory on board. So I'm trying to figure out how, with these next consoles reportedly being so RAM hungry, how they make that work with a price that's even somewhat approachable.
Yeah, I feel like with the PS6, it's for sure going to be digital only. You have to buy the disc drive separately. Like, I'm 99% positive about that. And I think the disc drive right now for the PS5 is like, what, $50 or something? I can't remember.
For the disc drive is like, I think $80. They actually saw it at Walmart the other day. I was a little surprised to see it in stores. Yeah,
so if it's 80 now, I expect it to be like 100 for the PS6. So they can make some money off of it. They're going to make you buy the vertical stand as well, because that's something Sony loves to do. I paid $40 Canadian for my vertical stand from my Pro. So I assume, dude, if I see the vertical stand for the PS6 costs $50, I'm going to lose my mind. Will I buy it? Yes. But that's still like ridiculous. Plus there's the handheld as well. That's like a whole nother can of worms for Sony. So yeah, I don't know what they're going to price it at.
I think the handheld's actually something they can approach a bit easier, because we are at least see Nintendo around the $500 mark. I'll say around because I think the price for the Switch 2 is probably going to go up in 2026, but they're around that $500 mark. And I think Sony would be able to make their handheld work at maybe like $600, and that would still come in underneath of the vast majority of these, as Gene just held up $1,000 Xbox handheld. So I think they'd be able to make that work, but it's not going to get easier as they go along. And so with all this hardware getting so expensive now, it is bringing up the question how they would approach this. I'm almost wondering if, as funny as it sounds, the power of the cloud comes into play and we start streaming games.
It's not as reliable though.
It's not, but it's kind of that, what else are we going to do, guys?
I think a lot of people just don't mess with it.
How
are you going to do that for
PS5?
They want these games as a service games. How do you do that with cloud?
Well, I mean, you got to be connected to the internet anyway. So if you're streaming World of Warcraft, but you always have to be online anyway, maybe people wouldn't really necessarily be able to tell as much.
No, motherfucker, I'm talking about like shooters and stuff.
Well, with a shooter, yeah, good luck. Dude, that's the thing with cloud. Racing games, first-person shooters, fighting games, it always feels like it's just a tick behind whenever you're trying to do something.
No, it is.
Yeah, so it's technology would have to get better for that in a hurry, and I just don't know if it's going to happen in the next several years now.
Yeah. I mentioned this to you earlier. I think last time I was on Spawncast, I tried Patapon on my Portal, could not make it like 2 minutes. Latency was too bad. Yeah,
because because you have to time it just right. I wondered if Sony or any of these companies would release a cloud only system, like a little USB stick or remember, because Keystone was a thing apparently from Microsoft, and they were going to try to make that work, and they shelved it. And it's like, man, this is Microsoft. They always they do this thing where they might have a good idea and then they somehow get in their own way. Because Keystone might have actually been a decent solution right now, since it wouldn't have shipped with much RAM. It would have been a bunch of probably cheaper parts, and they could have left it on store shelves for probably like $150. That's Microsoft. That's the way it goes.
But even John, if you look at the biggest games right now, your Fortnites, your Roblox and shit, can you really do those with cloud?
I wonder about Roblox because I still don't fully understand that game since it's kind of a game creation tool.
But it's a multiplayer experience.
Yeah.
You play with other people. There's an economy in it.
Well, the other thing with that, let's say it was perfect. Let's say they got it. Hey, the latency is so good. It's better than your display refresh rate. You won't even notice. It's like, all right, cool. But there's some restrictions we have because you're paying $20 a month instead of $40 a month. So you get 100 hours a month.
I know exactly. You're talking about the NVIDIA thing.
Yeah. Yep. All of a sudden, you can pay if you go over. You know, you can give them more money if you go over 100 hours a month. And people, I'm sure not everyone's going to go over 100 hours, but there are many people who will. You know, it's like, hey, I'm going to play a few hours here and there, and all of a sudden you're up to 90, and you're looking at your usage for the cloud like you would even for minutes on a phone or data on a phone. Or
that sounds terrible, dude. Oh my God.
I'm telling you. And here's the thing. We're talking about that now before the potential for demand of the cloud that would really spike if we got to this position in the first place. Like we're still kind of cloud. It's there, but it's still kind of niche compared to just owning a system and playing it.
Yeah.
You know, what happens when that kind of usage spikes? It's not a great future, but with AI right now, I don't know, Gene, you've been following this, but AI in general is just eating up the vast majority of DRAM that's on the market, with right now OpenAI eating up 40% of it with their project Stargate that's projected to go through 2029 for their build out. Data centers everywhere. Probably about put them in space. I don't really know when the relief comes then, if they're going to be doing this for the next several years.
I have no idea either. I mean, kind of going back to what you said, what you were talking about earlier, John, about CPU games, you know, like CPU heavy games. Like that's, for me, my big desire for the next generation of games, because it's like, yeah, I don't, Horizon Forbidden West isn't going to look any better, but, you know, how is it going to play any better? You know, how am I going to interact with the world differently? You were talking about Arc Raiders. I have been playing a multiplayer hit game of 2025, though, Battlefield 6. Battlefield 6, when I'm playing that game, I'm like, whoa, this is not a PS4 game. This is a PS5 game. I am solidly swimming in this generation with all these explosions and all these players and all these bots and all these physics and all this like environmental damage. I was like, finally, I'm playing a game that actually like is making the world play along with me, as opposed to just being part of the background, which is like typically a Call of Duty game or basically like any Sony game or basically any game in general. But it's like with Battlefield 6, it's like, here's a game that's like firing on all cylinders and there's so much stuff happening. And, you know, like it's like, for me, like I feel like games have still barely evolved since Crysis. You know, Crysis 1. When I play Crysis 1 and I shoot a guy and his truck blows into a house that falls apart, I'm like, that shit still doesn't even happen in AAA games today.
You mentioned that, what kind of blew my mind with Crysis back then? It wasn't, oh, my video card can now play it at 25 frames per second or something. This is amazing. And the visuals. It was actually when I got into one of the big trucks in the back, the gun, the Gatling gun, and I shot a tree. It slowly chipped away and actually fell over. And I was like, whoa, the environment actually does something.
Yeah. And that's why, like Assassin's Creed Shadows, a game I don't really like, but like that game does like a lot of incredible things with the physics of how you interact with the world. Like I wish the game was better, but they were doing a lot of things with interesting things.
Cutting bamboo down. Game. I saw that.
Yeah.
The bamboo getting sliced up. I actually like the idea of that, Gene, because even Battlefield 6, it does have some limitations where there are certain things that you just cannot destroy. But what if you get to the point where on the CPU side and then being able to draw up physics and destruction, like everything was destructible in different ways. Like it would, like different buildings would fall in different ways that are strategic, that kind of thing. Because Donkey Kong Bonanza comes out, and it's interesting that it got so much praise because there was so much destruction that would happen. And it felt different from most games because so many games are just static now. They look great, but if you go near the bush or a tree or something, you're going to just clip through it, or it's not really going to do much. But
Which
it looks
is weird
if you take screenshots.
It's weird because we had shit like that on the 360. Bad Company.
Bad Company 2.
The Bad Company, yeah, standard.
The GOAT. Yep.
That was good. That was a good
Standard.
one. Yeah, we played that a couple of years ago.
Well, like 2 years ago.
2 years ago, and it was so funny because we shot. I think it was a building, and it came down, and Sean's just screaming into his microphone. This is the greatest game I've ever played.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, because that's what we need to be focusing on is stuff like that, not ray tracing and look at this puddle. It ripples and I don't care.
Yeah. Puddlegate was like the fucking most annoying thing ever.
Give me something of substance. Give me something of. Yeah, okay. And here's something. This is kind of an aside. Have we seen anything that comes to the level of graphical performance than what we saw in that Matrix demo from 5 years ago?
Yeah.
I don't really think so. I'm trying to think of something that really stands out since then.
Like, come on, man. And I get it. It's a tech demo, and tech demos are usually much more curated. But still, man, it's like, where's something like that? A full game that's like that, you know?
Yeah, there's Hellblade 2, but like that's barely a game.
Right.
Know?
It's more of an interactive story thing.
Yeah.
I like the idea of them looking outside of visuals to try to give the next gen experience, because I do think I know it's marketable to show how shiny or how good a game looks. But man, if you actually get somebody involved with a game and it has those kind of next gen features, if it was, say, more CPU driven for destruction, or worlds that truly evolve over time, or NPCs that can actually think and walk around, as opposed to, I think like Cyberpunk got kind of beaten up for this when it came out, because they were sort of promising the idea of this, and then people started following the NPCs around and realized they weren't doing
anything. Yeah. They're absolutely fucking light about that shit. They're like, oh, everyone's gonna have their own routines, and I'm like, oh my god, it's gonna be like fucking Majora's Mask, but like a whole city full of it. And it's like not like that at all. It's just they're just all they're as dumb as Assassin's Creed NPCs. That's what it is.
Yeah. So but again, the other problem we come back to is the development costs are so expensive. It's a lot of these companies don't want to take a risk that might.
Spider-Man 2, $300 million. You know.
Yeah. Like for me, it's like, dude, the games have to look really that good. Like for me, I'm playing Fallout New Vegas right now, and like this game is so much more reactive. Like immediately, like the first few quests is like, okay, now you get to determine like how the leadership of this town is gonna go, and it's like this is so much more advanced in Fallout 4. It looks like crap. Why can't we just get another Fallout game that looks like crap like this, but you can make it in like a year? Because they made that shit in a year back then too.
That's true. Know? Yeah.
Obsidian made that shit in a year. So it's like, why can't we just get that? Like, how hard is it to just make the game look like that again? But it's like, we just get New Vegas 2 and it just looks exactly like that. It doesn't need to look like fucking Intergalactic, you know?
You know what this is reminding me of is like that meme where it's like, I want shorter games with worse graphics made by people who are paid more to work less. But like for reals though, I agree. I like more interaction than I don't care about graphics, to be honest. I don't care if you can see the hair on a character's face. Is it fun? Do you get to do cool things? Yes. Okay, let's play it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
And to bring up like Roblox is an ugly ass game. And you guess what? It's also the #1 game right now. So kids don't care about the graphics. They just care about whether the game is fun to play. And the reason why they play Roblox is because they can practically play any kind of experience they want in that game.
I think that we've all just lost the plot like with games now.
It's the suits. It's the suits and the shareholders.
Yeah, because
the industry now.
Exactly, because the suits don't fucking play games. So they're impressed when they see a movie like game. They're like, oh my god, that looks exactly like Tatiana Gabrielle. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Fucking $700 million more, you know? Because they don't play games. All they see is how realistic it looks, and they think that's going to sell, you know?
It's probably the easiest pitch to make, though, if you're head of one of these studios and you're trying to get the budget for it, and you go, yeah, but look how great this game looks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, don't worry about the mechanics, but look how good our character model here looks. And that, you're right, that might be the kind of appeal to the lowest common denominator with, as Sean mentions, the suits, but it's the most marketable thing for them too. So when they're like, hey, we need $300 million to make this game, well, Spider-Man better look really good swinging through that
Yeah,
New York City.
We heard it through Jim Ryan's own mouth. He was like, "I don't understand why anyone would want to play these games."
Showed Gran Turismo.
Yeah, that was a crazy.
the greatest games ever.
Yeah, and then you look at Concord, and like Lennox looks like so photorealistic. Everything about his eyebrows and his face, you can
And
tell.
it still looked ugly.
There it is.
It still looked ugly. You know, that's the thing.
It still looks super ugly. Everyone thought it looked ugly. You know.
God tier game here,
dude. Imagine
still
being like
adding
Kazunori.
Jim Ryan about to bury you over that.
Dude, imagine being Kazunori Yamauchi's hearing Jim Ryan say that. I would have been so pissed. It's like this guy's shit talking the franchise like I helped build for PlayStation, the biggest PlayStation franchise ever. Come on, man.
And then you got games like Pokemon that cost 10 million or 12 million to make, and they make billions a year, and everyone's like, "Oh, we gotta buy." You know, Pokemon is the cause for all of this.
Pokemon did it.
Pokemon's gonna do it because developers are gonna see, oh, they only spent $12 million. The game looks like dog fucking shit, and kids are buying it. Well, there we go.
Yeah, even I complained about the graphics this year for Legends ZA. I was like now it's my turn to complain about the graphics. This looks like crap, but it still sold way more than I ever thought it would. So
Pokopia game key card $70, but look, there's Pokemon in a crappy Dragon Quest Builder style game that takes away all the interesting parts of Dragon Quest Builders. Oh, we're gonna sell 20 million of this.
Okay. To be fair, though, if that story ends up being that Ditto took over a deceased trainer and relives their old life and ends up being really sad and Lost Odyssey like in the end, I might actually be interested in that. I'd be like, all right, they might have
cool
premise.
If it's a horror game, I'm staying on that. Okay, she is buried behind the Poke Center. Okay, she's buried. She's dead. He replaced her. And I feel like halfway through the game, you're going to start getting letters from the trainer's family, and you piece it together that there's a murder.
It's a tragedy.
That's what I'm predicting. If it is, it'll be game of the year.
That would actually
it'll outsell GTA 6.
Slop is what I'm predicting.
Okay, Sean.
Well, you mentioned
right.
You mentioned GTA 6, Celia. That could, I think that game's going to obviously be super high quality and have a lot going for it. That could actually do some more damage to the industry once again. Not only we don't know the price of it yet. It could be an $80 to $100 game for all we know right the second. But it could be that sense of, hey, this is what the new standard is. You got to try to live up to it. And a lot of games, I'm sure in the future will attempt to hit that high bar.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like everyone's still trying to be Red Dead 2, and it's like you actually don't look better than Red Dead 2, actually, to this day, for the most part.
Go ahead, Radic, what were you saying?
No, then you like realize that most of these companies just aren't built for it. These don't have the sauce that Naughty Dog or Rockstar does. Like, I think I mentioned another thing I mentioned before, but when I went to my friend's house in like 07, 08, and he had Uncharted running, he was like, "Yo, check this! Like Nathan Drake actually gets wet when he goes into the water, and then you see his clothes get wet, and he dries in real time." I'm like, "Dude, this is next gen."
Uncharted 1,
Drake's Fortune, the GOAT. And then Naughty Dog releases another game 2 years after, and they release another game 2 years after, and then they release another game a year and a half after with Last of Us. And then, we're just never going to get that output again. But it's not even about the output. If those games, even though they were 2 years apart, they felt like such huge leaps, especially Uncharted 1 to Uncharted 2 was like insane. But then you compare a game like God of War 2018 to God of War Ragnarok. And I love Ragnarok. I think Ragnarok's like the gameplay in that game is fantastic. Love what they did with Kratos and his character. I wouldn't say it looks that much better than 2018 visually,
Not at all.
Yeah.
Why don't we finish up with a few questions that were posed from the audience? I dropped a quick mailbag and there were a couple responses that came through. Medallion says they predicted 2030 and people were like, nah, it's coming out this year or something. Who's laughing now? Well, do you guys think they're actually going to push this thing to 2030? Like, are we going to wait a full 10-year cycle for this thing?
I hope so.
Okay.
I mean, everyone's cool with it, man. Yeah.
Everything is so volatile right now and unknown because of the AI shit and all this sort of like tariffs. That's way in the rearview mirror. Tariffs now. we ain't talking about no, it's AI. So yeah, like I think it's a foregone conclusion? No, but I think it's a real possibility, especially when you see these. Like I always say, yesterday's price isn't today's price, and today's price isn't tomorrow's price.
Bloody Soma says, who is the targeted audience for next gen consoles? It seems like they try to appeal to a broader audience, but younger people are too broke to buy a $1,000 console, and older gamers like myself are less interested in those broader audience games.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good point, because like we last November, it was like the lowest amount of money spent in the video game industry since
That's crazy. That was crazy.
96. That's yeah.
95 was the first year they started calculating
Tracking.
it.
Yo, what? Yeah, goddamn.
Yeah. People are fucking broke right now, man. That's for goddamn sure.
And you look at 95 and what was out there, like the PlayStation 1 was still finding its footing. The Saturn wasn't off to a very good start. And then everything else was old. You were waiting for the N64, the Genesis, the Super Nintendo. People wanted the next systems from those, but the Saturn, like I said, was $400 when it first came out. So people weren't rushing out to buy it or anything like that. And the biggest thing was the industry was a fraction of the size of what it is now. Mm-hmm. That's the biggest thing to take away from it.
The jump in the market, 24 to 35 is kind of, I guess, a sweet spot with these pricing. It is expensive, but 35. At the same time, if you're looking,
kids.
Because if you're looking in that age range, normally that's age when you're getting your first job out of college, okay, and you're starting to have long-term savings. Usually, historically, those long-term savings would go into like a housing bucket and like saving up also like you're having your first kids. But since the goalposts are now moving to later in life right now, just because you can't afford a house. Like any advice I would have to give people, coming out of college of how to save for a house doesn't exist anymore. And so a lot of like that part, like I guess sweet spot in the generation, they're not saving for those long-term purchases anymore because there's no way to do it. So that's the market you target because it's higher ticketed price in entertainment items. So that's what it's for technically, but it still sucks.
DC Fat Cat says, maybe we can do the NVIDIA thing and talk about how the PS6 will get PS5 Pro performance at a PS5 price, except it's all AI based and the memory is dropped. Won't that be swell? That's, that AI is probably working in the next generation in some way, but that has been floated.
I had to call State Farm the other day, and my local branch is like on vacation, and I'm like, I need an insurance card for this car, or else they're not going to deliver it to me, my Ford Pinto. And so I had to call the 800 number for State Farm to put the car on there. And they were like, we use AI to route your calls and something like that. I'm like, what? What are you talking? I just need a card. Why do you need to bring AI into this? This is a simple transaction here.
So the technology that's been floated, and it sounds like we're still pretty far off from this, and it's hard for people to kind of understand and wrap their mind around it. The idea is that certain devices like your phone or your computer wouldn't necessarily need as much local hardware, even down to the RAM, and the operating system you'd have would be streamed to you and recreated in real time as you're using it by AI. That's the future that's being pitched.
That future sounds stupid.
It sounds like it would be hard to make it like work correctly every time. And to me, it sounds like some craziness would happen. I mean, I also think about cybersecurity with something like that, where you are constantly streaming your OS and all actions, anything that you're doing, banking and stuff like that. It seems like it's set up like perfectly for there to be some kind of fraud or just intercepting.
And you brought kids into this world, John.
I know.
You monster.
Dude, I know. It's gonna be a crazy run of like high school and college for these kids, man. I'm glad we missed all of this, Sean.
Fuck yeah.
Like, I'm really glad we missed all
dead or in jail. What are you, phones were around back in my day? Shit.
Yeah. we got out when the flip phone showed up. We were out.
Bro. Thank God.
Oh, man. Lenny says, with the PS5 Pro getting the big PSSR FSR4 update in 2026, I'm wondering what differences would a PS6 have over the Pro?
Has Pisser been that good? Has Pisser really been doing all that much? I don't know. It seems like a lot of people.
Maybe PS6 will fucking Silent Hill 2 remake finally. Like
there's a big update that's supposed to hit this in 2026 this year now in a few months. And we'll see then, but that is a good point because a lot of the research they're doing with the PS5 Pro is what we assume would work into the PS6. So that's one of the reasons I brought up the CPU side, because that seems to be the weak link out of everything is that. So
Yeah, it's like how Sony's framing their low power mode as environment friendly, even though it's like, come on, guys, you're just doing this for the handheld.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. That's definitely for the handheld.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck about
Environment friendly while they're putting all this money into AI, which is fucking the environment much more than my gas vehicles are. You hippies with your electric vehicles. Get out of here.
Ornal says he thinks it'll be a similar length to the generation of 360 and PS3 at this point. And I would agree.
That was 8 years, right?
That was 8 years, 360 to Xbox One. Yep. And then Kale says, I'm scared that AI integration will be the big feature for the next generation console. Sadly, the prices will probably go through the roof for something most gamers could do without.
It's going to make, I think gaming has plateaued as far as the business end of it is concerned. And obviously, it's not going to drop off of a cliff dramatically, but you are going to see an inevitability at this point, which is going to be a crash of some sort. You're already seeing it. Studio closures, mergers, raising prices, all this sort of stuff. This is all to circumvent the big event that will end up happening with this, because, and I don't even necessarily think that that's the worst thing in the world, because gaming needs a course correction. It needs, I think it's honestly gotten like too big, too fast.
There's too many games.
Yeah. Like there needs to be a course correction. And it's just going to be, by that time, Mina the Hollow World will finally come out. It'll be the only game that exists. And so then Celia doesn't have to go work at Arby's.
Okay.
She can retire.
I know, as Sean's talking, he's like, yeah, it's too big. There's too many games being made. I'm like, Sean, some games should be made, just throwing it out there.
You know what I'm saying.
Some studios should exist,
And some studios should exist. And I hate to say this, but some shouldn't. Like those fucking hentai drops of games
they make
that come out.
So much money.
Exactly.
It's crazy, dude.
And here's the big thing that nobody is factoring in. So you got places like Twitter and shit like that, very vocal minority of people. Twitter is not the real world, no matter what John says. But they're all against like generative AI and games. And now the Clear Obscure had a poll with AI on it. It's the worst game ever. But then when these games come out of, and no disrespect, but when these games come out of China, how do you think they're making those games? What do you think they're using to make those games?
Yeah.
And it's going to get worse.
That's what's driving the AI race right now too, because China is running laps around American development, and the American government and American corporations can't abide by that. They're like, we can't let China outlap us.
That was like a story, right? Like NetEase shut down like one of their American studios because they were just taking like too long to develop a game. It's like we would rather just invest this money into more local or Eastern studios than an American one.
Yep. It's gonna be an interesting future.
And you saw with Black Myth Wukong, which sold like gangbusters, but a lot of the sales came out of China. So if it's sustainable for them, what the fuck do they care?
Yeah.
What are the people going to do? Complain? Where are they going to complain?
Oh my God, the Americans don't like our AI games. Good thing we have 1 billion people here that'll buy it anyways, right?
You can't say a fucking thing about it.
Fuck them,
Those are all the questions. Shout out to the community over there on the Spawncast Network. Appreciate the questions. Appreciate them. That's our next gen episode. Shout out to everyone who stopped by. Let me go around here. Radic, where could everyone find you, sir?
You can find me at Real Radic on every social media platform. So I'm at Real Radic on Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitch.
Need more YouTube videos from you, man.
Oh yeah, I got one cooking up right now. Probably going to release it sometime next week. All about PS3 exclusive content. So expect to see some Joker Arkham Asylum gameplay, Kratos Mortal Kombat 11.
Joker Arkham Asylum gameplay. Oh my God. That was so cool. Yeah. That was so cool.
I love that he just has like a gun with one bullet that has like an instant kill. It was
I hate that it was console exclusive. That was crazy.
Yeah, I think they brought it back for the remaster for everyone now, thankfully.
Oh yeah. Maybe they did. Yeah.
About Gene, where can we find you, sir?
You can find me on the Washington Post, washingtonpost.com/people/Gene Park. You can find all my work there. But thank you so much for having me, guys.
Good stuff. Thanks for stopping in. And Celia.
I'm on a podcast with Sean and Josie and sometimes Nate.
It's sometimes
called
Josie
Game and
now.
Talk.
Where's that girl been? Jesus
Dude,
Christ.
she's been busy with her, her job and
Yeah,
making
she's
moves.
visiting
She
family
quit
right
college, so she's gotta make
now.
money.
She graduated, okay? She has a certificate. Okay, let her be. Let her be.
I was like, whoa, Josie dropped out. Hell yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Josie, the college dropout. That's dope.
I know, right? Whoa. Okay, so I'm on that Game and Talk. I'm also making a video for Game and Talk, so it'll come out eventually. It's about indie games. Yeah. Besides that, I have a gaming Instagram. It's at Kosher Gamer. And yeah, my other social media is Celia B with 3 E's.
And then what about Sean?
You can find me on RGT85. It's a new year. Take care of yourself in this new year. Take care of your physical. Take care of your, I say physical as I have my smoothie and my vape. But try and take care of your physical. Try and take care of your mental. World's a crazy place. Life has ups and downs. Roll with the punches.
All right.
Amen.
And with that, we are out. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll be back next Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time. We'll see you guys then.